Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Star Wars Alliance, your home on the Geek Ultimate Alliance podcast network for any and all things Star Wars. I'm your host, as always, except for when I feel like crap, like last week. Which then, in case Adrian does an incredible job, giving me and Clay back up. So, thank you, Adrian, so much for last week. But joining me, as always, is Clay. Clay, how are you doing today?
I am doing pretty good. Today went pretty well at work. I will say there's a lot of things changing at work. For those of you who don't know, um, my job has become extremely harder than it used to be. More so just because Diamond Distribution filed for bankruptcy, and they were a large part of the comic distribution worldwide. And with them filing for bankruptcy, uh, they are essentially just counting their days until they are going out of business. And so, my company, or the company that I work for, mind you, is picking up a lot of what they are putting down. So, things are a little crazy. So, hopefully soon it'll be crazy in a good way, but right now it's just a lot of chaos. So
Yeah.
yay.
Yay, chaos. I just have a PSA to watch out for your dog's chew toys.
How bad is it though? Like I'll probably ask to see it once the stream is actually like finished, but I don't need you to show it live.
No, I'm not showing it live. I don't need my foot out on the interwebs. Thank you
I
very
was gonna
much.
say you need people to pay for that shit.
Yeah, exactly. So I stepped on one of my dog's dinosaur chew toys that has like the little bumps on it and stuff. Um, and it is like probably the size of a quarter uh on my foot. And it's not that deep, thankfully. Um, but like I bled through a sock and a band-aid. So, yeah. So just be careful and pay attention because I was not. And my foot hurts like heck. So if I randomly just say ow on stream, just ignore me. Okay, it's been happening all day. So and it snowed here. Clay, I know it snows all the time now where you're at, but we had snow a week and a half ago, and now we have snow again in South Carolina, where we haven't had snow in 2 years. So, yeah.
Fun stuff. Yeah, today, well, this morning I woke up to, I know I shared it with a friend of mine. Here, let me see here. This morning I woke up to -4 degrees, but with the wind chill, it felt like -14. Yay!
It
Well,
was
I
11 degrees this morning.
the reason why I was sharing that with a friend is because she messaged me and said, "Hey, if you're ever wanting to move to Wyoming, it was 6 degrees, but with the wind chill, it was -29."
Oh,
Yeah.
no. Hell no. Good gravy. Hell no. Anyways, we had big news for Star Wars this week. What the fuck?
Yeah, I kind of like it. I like that big news is happening during the time that we're wanting to change some things here at Star Wars Alliance and how we do some things, because I was a little afraid of this episode being a little too short. We are having a discussional piece at the very end of this, trying out something new for the year of 2025.
Yeah.
But I think the topic's going to be fun because I think we've already triggered Snell. which is very, very fun. I will always have fun triggering Snell. So Travis, if you're listening to this, I'm sorry, but we'll have to just wait and see how everything turns up.
He's so pissed off I said Blade 2049 was garbage. Anyways, so that's our, I guess, main news topic. We might as well go ahead and dive on into it.
Yeah.
Ryan Gosling is going to star in Shawn Levy's Star Wars film. Now, I need to put this up as a disclaimer. I have not seen much of Gosling's work. I went through his list, his film list earlier today, and I have seen Crazy Stupid Love, La La Land, Blade Runner 2049. Oh, I'm sorry, I've seen 5. I've seen The Gray Man, which was not good. And I've seen Barbie, which obviously he did a great job at.
You know, now that you actually mention it, let me actually see how much of Gosling's credits I've actually seen. Because, okay, so for me, I haven't seen, what was the Netflix one that was really bad that everybody was like, yeah,
The
this is a
Gray
waste of time?
Man.
Gray Man, yeah. Gray Man I have not seen. So, out of everything that he has been in, I've seen Barbie, I have seen La La Land, I have seen The Notebook, I have seen Driver, or sorry,
I've not
Drive.
seen Notebook.
One of my really close friends calls it the suck book because it makes her cry so much, and it sucks that she has to cry so much during that movie. I've seen Crazy Stupid Love, I've seen Remember the Titans, I have seen First Man? I have not seen First Man. Gosh, maybe I haven't seen a whole lot of his stuff. That's wild. I thought I saw a lot more. But he has a very wide range of things that he has actually been in the sense of, like, when you compare things like First Man and The Nice Guys with Russell Crowe, right? Same thing if you Drive and 2049 are completely different as well. So I think this is a very interesting decision, but Katie texted me immediately after I told her to look into our GUA chat because I know she's not on Twitter as much anymore. But I said, hey, take a look at the chat. And you had said, oh, shoot, where's the text? We have text more since you've talked about that. But when was this news actually?
Yesterday.
Was it yesterday?
All right. I don't know if I responded
Oh,
to
yeah.
you. It might have been.
Yes, you said, what the F? I can't picture a role for Gosling at all. And I think because of his roles like The Nice Guy and Fall Guy, I think I was like, what about a smuggler? What about a pilot? Which I understand can be very, like, cliche nowadays for the roles of these types of actors for Star Wars. But then I was like, what if Lucasfilm ditched Patty Jenkins but still kept the script and was like, hey, Shawn, we got a movie for you?
I don't think so. I think Shawn wants to lean more original, and he doesn't have the connection to fighter pilots that Patty does.
True.
So I just need to get this part out of the way. I sent this news to my mother and my sisters because they know who Gosling is, and I was like, yeah.
Uh-huh.
So this was their reactions. I didn't get permission to share this, but they don't listen to this anyways. I said, I have no idea what he's going to play, comma, I don't like it. And my mom said, he could play Luke. And I said, you think so? Question mark. And she said, sure, why not? He's blonde and goofy looking.
Oh, shit.
I just had to share that.
Blonde and goofy looking. Oh, that's amazing. I love it. I love it.
And both of my sisters agreed and said, I feel like they should stay true to casting nobodies for movies.
Well, it's nowadays that's hard. Because I feel the same way when it comes to superhero movies. And technically, it's kind of Star Wars has kind of bled into that same genre. But as we know, Star Wars is actually, fantasy, more, less of the sci-fi, more of the fantasy. I genuinely think that if they were to have the balls to not say who Gosling was playing, and then the first thing you hear in the movie is somebody call him Luke, I can almost guarantee people would walk out of that movie.
Are you serious?
I think so. I don't mind it.
Mm-hmm.
Because again, Mark Hamill is too old to play the role. Sorry, he just is. Especially if they want to go into that pocket of time between episodes 4 and 6.
And not use friggin' AI
Exactly.
replication.
Exactly. So, but that I don't believe it'll be Luke Skywalker.
Yeah, I don't either.
I believe he will be a pilot smuggler of some kind. I could even go as far as saying that he is just some random citizen of a random planet within this galaxy far, far away. And he just falls into trouble in the galaxy.
Yeah, I could see that. It's tough to say what his role could potentially be when we don't know at least time frame of this film.
Yeah.
Like, we don't know when it's taking place in the timeline.
Yep.
Which brings me to my next topic. Well, not necessarily topic, but like part of this discussion. Lucasfilm announced 3 movies at the last Star Wars Celebration.
Yes.
We were not given time frames on those movies.
So just to confirm, it was the
Mangold movie,
Mangold
Dawn of the
movie.
Jedi.
Then it was the
Rey Skywalker movie.
The Rey Skywalker movie, and then it
Which
was
I'm sorry, I will never remember that director's name until
I was trying to not say the Rey Skywalker movie. I was trying to, like, before you said anything, I was trying to Google her name. But then it's Dave Filoni's movie as well, right? Or was it Mandalorian Grogu?
No, Mandalorian Grogu was announced via the StarWars.com page like 3 months later.
That's right. And then after that, I think it was Levy's movie that has somewhat.
I actually think Levy's movie might have been talked about before Mandalorian Grogu.
Really?
Yeah.
Even so, for Shawn's movie to be essentially fast tracked
Yep.
into this position, because I know that's kind of where you were going.
Yep.
How do you feel about that?
I don't mind it. When we had heard that he had been offered a Star Wars movie, we were very excited. We
Yeah.
really enjoy a lot of his material, and I think Deadpool and Wolverine. Have you seen Deadpool and Wolverine? I think you have,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Okay. Deadpool and Wolverine only increase that for me. Like, I'm very excited for his movie. I think he's a very talented director, and I can't wait to see what he'll do with it. So I think he's very popular right now. Filoni is currently busy. We know Ahsoka season 2 is going to come out before his movie comes to light. With the Heir to the Empire recreation is basically what we've called it.
Yeah.
So to me, it makes sense, especially when we know Star Wars is trying to get back into theaters.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like that, and okay, now I've got to figure out what her name was, because I got to give her the credit that she's due.
Yes.
Crap, I didn't put movie on the end of that Google. Charmin Obaid Chinoy. I don't like her movie has been in development hell. Now, we have heard rumors that potentially Levy's movie could be taking over, or that Ray will make an appearance in Levy's movie. One of
that
the
was
two.
that was the next rumor I was wanting to talk about, because me and Travis had a small back and forth about that. So Travis had asked, does this now mean that Ray still shows up in Shawn's movie? I believe that this means no. And I will tell you the unfortunate truth of that. The unfortunate truth is that Ryan Gosling is a very popular white male actor. That it has gotten the spotlight more so than Daisy Ridley in the sense of Hollywood. He will overshadow her in a
100%.
very large sense. And
now I will give him credit. I know that he knows how to play second fiddle because of Barbie.
yes,
That doesn't mean that Star Wars, quote, fans will accept him as second fiddle.
yeah.
So it is smarter for Lucasfilm to leave Rey out. If they want to continue her story, then she needs to be the focus.
And that's the thing I was going to say. As long as Lucasfilm stays true to wanting to put her in the spotlight, wanting to continue her story, and all of these other things that they've said that they're wanting to do, as long as that still happens, I am totally fine with Daisy Ridley not being in Shawn's movie.
Yeah.
Now,
I could see like a post-credit.
I was going to say, if it was
not
always
in the actual movie.
Yeah, if it was always supposed to be like a cameo to push the movie forward, or a tease to what's to come for Rey Skywalker, I'm totally down for that for sure. But as a main character and focused on both of them, I definitely don't think it's right for the movie.
And because Matt and I talked about this, he was like, well, he could just be like a random cameo kind of thing. Like, oh, he's always wanted to be in a Star Wars movie. Oh, like, he just wants like an episode like Jack Black and Lizzo were in, basically is what he said. I was like, yeah, you don't get news like this for a cameo role.
For a cameo, yeah.
Like, he is the lead of Shawn Levy's movie.
Mhm.
100%. Like, no doubt about it. And I know we always say it's not true unless it comes from StarWars.com. But
Yeah.
this is the Hollywood Reporter. So more reliable than most sources. So would you say that Gosling will now make an appearance at Star Wars Celebration in April?
Ooh. I think that would be a huge get.
Yeah.
Um Now, mind you, there has been bigger actors at Star Wars Celebration, but I think with how much of an it boy Ryan Gosling is right now in Hollywood,
Mm-hmm.
it would there would be the biggest pop from the fans and audience when Gosling jumps up on that stage.
Yeah.
So, man, is it too early? Is it too early to have Gosling promote something that we don't necessarily entirely know when filming begins?
The rumor is that filming is going to start this fall for Levy's movie.
Hmm.
Let's see. So
Has there ever been guests at Celebration for something that has not started filming yet?
Daisy Ridley, Star Wars Celebration London.
Okay, yes. I feel like that's a special case
Acolyte.
because
Amanda was there when the show was announced.
oh really?
She'd been getting hate for 2 fucking years before they ever went into production.
Fuck. Okay. Okay, yeah, yeah. I would say yes then. I would say yes, there is a possibility of Gosling being at Celebration. Which, by the way, I don't know if you actually were able to sit down and listen. Adrian is going to Celebration.
I
So
did not get a chance to listen, but I knew that because he had been working on his record cosplay.
yeah, yeah.
Um, and so I had seen that in one of his videos. Very excited for that.
Yeah, very exciting. I told him that we need to get together afterward and talk about his experience and everything else.
Yeah.
Um,
So Levy does, I believe, the only thing that he has on his radar right now, um, is finishing Stranger Things.
okay, yeah.
So it's perfectly reasonable because I think Stranger Things is actually finished filming. And so it's in post production right now, I want to say. Um so it's perfectly reasonable that he could start filming this fall.
Yeah, I think that's reasonable. 100%. Yeah.
Um in other news, the Wayseeker synopsis is out.
I did
Um
see that. I did not read it. But if you care to share,
I
that's totally fine.
I did read it. Um I will say I don't consider much of it very important. It does state that at the time, basically, Vernestra is a Wayseeker and she hasn't been on Coruscant in many years. And Indara is sent to find her and return her back to Coruscant because a senator, not mentioned by name, requests Vernestra's help specifically. So that is kind of the plot that we should expect for the Wayseeker. Um, which I think we all saw, especially after the first book in phase 3, that was the young adults. Um, Defy the Storm. For Defy the Storm, I think we all saw Vernestra becoming a Wayseeker.
Yeah.
So makes a lot of sense.
Now, I will say this in other book news, next Tuesday.
Oh shit! Oh shit!
Over at Blue Sky, Charles Soule said, "Hey guys, Trials of the Jedi cover reveal on Tuesday. Yep, here's a little tease." And you see at the very bottom, it says Charles Soule, #1 New York Times bestselling author. And you see a little bit of pink, a little bit of blues, a little bit of purples. What do you think? What do you think? Just from this look, from this one look, what do you think is on that cover?
First of all, I love the pink and blue vibes because it gives me like sunset vibes. I know I said vibes already. But it's like this is the end of the High Republic.
Yep.
So we're sunsetting.
Yep.
I love that. Oh, love it. Okay. I gotta bet on Elzar being the little white cape that we see on the left side. And I gotta see Avar on here somewhere. They have been a part of so many covers. And they were on the opening cover for Light of the Jedi. So I gotta see them. I gotta see them on here.
So zooming in, because I actually went into Blue Sky on my phone and I zoomed in as much as possible.
Do we see Charhound?
I don't know if that is a Charhound or it might even be Burry with some sort of armor on his
Which
legs.
we know they've got armor in this phase. So,
yeah.
Or in this wave, not this phase.
Yeah. So there is some sort of like cape or robe of some kind in the on the left side. And I don't know if this is an individual that is getting like splashed with ocean water or if it's like supposed to be symbolizing like wind hitting the sand in between this furry creature. But it's blue. It's darker blue. I'm trying to think of all the characters that wear blue and or gray. It might be oh shoot.
Lorna?
No. Name's escaping me. You just said it. Elzar and
Avar?
Avar has, I believe, a grayish robe in this phase.
Yes, she does, but we've also seen so she was featured in the concept art with the armor.
Yes.
So very curious.
Yeah.
I guess we will be talking about it next week.
Yeah, I'm gonna be very excited to see it.
I'm so excited. Sorry, there was a bunch of oh shits at the beginning of that, and this is the downsides of getting off social media, right? Is like I don't see this stuff. Like,
well, and a little bit of some good news for all of you family people with young ones. Katie and I will have an impromptu review coming your way in possibly the next few weeks. So just a little tease at that. But yeah, very, very exciting stuff in the realm of book news for Star Wars.
And with that book news comes comic news because the Battle of Jakku series is ending for Marvel Comics. They had the last issue, I think, debuted today. I
believe so.
With that, Alex Segura has announced that he is going to be taking the Star Wars mainline and running with it for, drumroll please, Clay, you didn't even laugh.
Oh, sorry, I was reading everything because I've only like scrolled through this when you shared it.
So he is taking over the Star Wars main run for post Battle of Jakku. So we have Luke with his green lightsaber, Leia with her hair down, and
Mhm.
Han on the side, um, like ready to go basically.
With
As
a
they,
white jacket
oh
from
yeah,
yeah, he's not wearing his brown jacket at this time. Um I think it looks good. I've always thought that the uh comics look good and the main line always looks really well. Um we will be reviewing the Battle of Jakku as soon as it comes out in volume format. I believe that will be in.
we may get to it before that because the volume format is not coming out until June.
Did it really say June? Holy cow!
Yeah, I've got it pre-ordered on Amazon. Hi, Andrew.
Andrew Haley
Um,
is in the chat. Just wanted to say hi. Yeah, if that's the case, I'm totally down with grabbing hold of that and reading that.
yeah, we will let you guys know because we've got through the end of March planned right now. But April and May are both busy months. So who knows? We
Very,
might
very
not get to
busy.
it until the volume format comes out. Who knows? Um, but this is the cover. Since I should have brought it up beforehand. Oh, come on. So, yeah, Leia is in a nice pink dress, and I love this hairdo for her.
Mhm.
This cover is by Phil Noto, who will also be doing the main artwork, I believe. Um, I can't, for some reason, I can't get out of this page. It won't let me.
Scroll
But,
up and press the X.
oh, it's because I have it zoomed in. I'm sorry. Not all there. Um, yeah, Phil Noto is going to be doing the art for the series, which I love Phil's art. I think it's been some of the best that I've seen for Star Wars comics. So that excites me. Uh, so yeah.
Yeah, very, very exciting stuff.
The first issue comes out May 7th.
Okay.
Um, and then so in case anybody was interested in the summary for the comic, Luke Skywalker must defend the New Republic from a bloodthirsty gang of mercenaries. Han Solo investigates a deadly underworld mystery and saves a surprising ally. Leia Organa must grapple with a new alliance opposed to the goals of the New Republic. So, that's where we're headed.
Very nice. I think it's gonna be very fun. Um, we do talk a lot about like wanting to get out of the Skywalker saga and everything else. Um, I have always enjoyed the Star Wars comics because they have expanded the universe in so many different ways.
Mhm.
And that's the stuff that I need when it comes to Star Wars is hey, don't just do the same song and dance. Give us new characters, give us
Yep.
new planets, give us things that we have not seen before in Star Wars. And that's exactly what they
Stop
continue to
crossing the
do.
same time area with the same
Yeah.
story,
Hmm.
basically. It's not
Yeah.
worth it.
And that's why I love these comics because they will get right up to the point where one of the movies will start and they're like, okay, we're done. Cool. Let's take a break. Let's do something else. And then boom, they're going to start another series in between the next two movies and whatnot.
Yeah.
So I really enjoy that because it's like I said, it's not the same song and dance. We're not regurgitating things or anything else like that. Yeah, so it's very, very unique, very enjoyable. They will continue to have, of course, A and B covers. There was a cover B that featured the um,
Valence from the Bounty
um,
Hunters
yes, from the
comic.
Bounty Hunters comic. Yes, but I think that is everything on
Yeah.
our list of things to talk about. And now goes to our main discussion. Now, like I said, this is going to be something that's a little newer to us. We're wanting more discussional pieces in our catalog of our podcast.
Yeah.
And so I named this one DIY animated movie. Um, the criteria that I gave Katie when I created this topic was I needed an elevator pitch, a director, and a cast. So,
The
for those
only
of you,
thing I'm gonna struggle with is the cast because I don't know a lot of voice actors specifically. So
so
that's
here's the thing that's gonna save you right now, Katie.
okay.
I didn't do specific voice actors. I did overall characters. That's still a cast.
Okay.
So if listeners, if you don't know what an elevator pitch is legitimately you imagine yourself going into an elevator with Kathleen Kennedy and you only have up until she needs to leave the elevator to pitch her a movie idea. That is literally an elevator pitch. So it's supposed to be quick, snappy. So Katie, before I hear your elevator pitch, well, you know what? No, I want to hear your elevator pitch first before I hear the director. So
Okay.
Katie, what is your elevator pitch?
So I think we have to get out of the way. So Matt brought this up. I just have to before you hear my elevator pitch, Matt brought this up. Um we I am skipping the visions aspect where like, oh, I want to see the Ninth Jedi. Like
Yes, yes,
full-fledged
yes.
movie. Like
Hmm.
we've already seen their work. Like this is somebody new for Star Wars. And yes, those people would technically be new to canon Star Wars quote. But we've seen what they would like to do for Star Wars. So with that, uh I wanted this originally for like Dawn of the Jedi aspect,
Okay.
but because we're already getting that with James Mangold, what I thought about was if we saw, and I'm totally copying this, but the different factions that we see for the High Republic, like the Jedi factions on Jeddah,
Hmm.
like exploring all the stories, like going into like full-fledged like battles between them, maybe even, but like conflicts probably more of, and like exploring why they do what they do. And I'm
Hmm.
pulling this a little bit from Star Wars Legends where Jason goes exploring the different pathways for force users to learn different techniques himself.
Yeah.
That's kind of my inspiration here. But also, and this is my pitch for the director duo, um I picked the Avatar: The Last Airbender creators,
No, that's
Michael
great. That's
Dante
awesome. I love that.
DiMartino and Brian Konezoko. Um, I think I love what they do with Avatar. I'm very excited to see what Avatar, or I think it's Avatar Studio, um,
Hmm.
comes up with for these movies and everything that they're going off into. We know that there's another Avatar show coming with
Hmm.
Earthbender, with an Earthbender Avatar with like potentially twins and everything. I love the stories that come out of this. And the books have also been very good. I don't know if you've read the Avatar books, but if you haven't, like yeah, they've got Yang
They have always
Roku.
been lingering on my list. I haven't had the chance to actually sit down and grab them. I do believe I have one on my Audible. I don't know which one it is though. Um, but yeah, they're on my radar for sure.
They are great. Now I've only read the Kyoki ones. I think that's her name. I'm not thinking straight at
Kiyoshi.
the moment. Kyoshi. Oh my gosh. The Kyoshi ones have been the only ones I've read. But they're next on my list to pick up now that I finished Onyx Storm.
Yeah,
Uh,
that's the one that I have in my library currently. It is Avatar: The Last Airbender: The Rise of Kyoshi.
yeah, I love that one. That one's so good. But yeah, that's my pitch for a DIY animated movie. And I'm calling this design it yourself because you're not doing it yourself in this case.
Yeah, you're designing it yourself. Yeah,
But
very, very clever.
I think the fact that they've taken like a different pathway to benders of different elements,
Mm-hmm.
I think that that's something very doable that they could take from and then use to talk about the Night Sisters, the silent ones that we see at Jeddah, the Guardians of Jeddah, and then the Falanasi.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think that's just something very unique that the general population has not seen. So
Yes, and one thing that I thought about when thinking about the animated movie that I was going to pitch is you look at the last, you don't even have to look that far. You look at the last 5 years of animated movies hitting theaters. They are not these very silly, very dumbed down movies. They have,
animation doesn't have to be for kids.
well, but the thing is, you don't have to treat kids like they're dumb.
Yep.
Look at movies like Into the Spider-Verse. Look at movies like Wild Robot. Look at a lot of these films, and they have a very complex story with feelings and emotion and all of these different things that are really rewarding when you watch them and think about them and everything else. That's what I really thought about when I thought about this
Yeah.
movie.
And I think that's why Avatar The Last Airbender is so unique because it was almost the first of its kind to broach adult like topics
Mm-hmm.
and
It
give them
was,
in a kid friendly way.
you look at the relationships between Aang and Katara and oh shoot, I'm forgetting everybody's name. Oh no, it's been so long since I've watched it.
Katara, Sokka, Toph.
Sokka and Toph. Yeah, you look at that four friend group right there, and it is absolutely hilarious and absolutely complex
Yep.
because of everything that's happening there. And so there are really serious moments, you know? Hey, my first girlfriend got turned into the mood. Oh, rough, you know? It's it's like there's a lot of sadness in
Yeah.
that, but then it's like that response from Zuko is hilarious. It's like, oh man,
Yeah.
that's rough. Like there's nothing else you can say with that. Um, so yeah, I love that. I love the director choice. I love the uh actual the elevator pitch. I would have never thought about jumping into the other pockets of force users. Um I I feel like people would say like this is like not thinking a whole lot about it, but I thought about some of my favorite animated films recently and just the stuff that's been playing at my house a ton with Amberlyn. And the one thing that I find myself watching with Amberlyn once, maybe even twice a week, Lilo and Stitch.
Yeah.
So I will go ahead and give that tease my director choice. Director of The Wild Robot, director of Lilo and Stitch, Chris Sanders. Chris Sanders has done an amazing job with animation, with story, with something that can be extremely silly, but very complex, full of emotion, and it like some things that genuinely just are very heartfelt. So I really love that about him as a director and would love for him to dip his toes in Star Wars. With that type of emotion that he provides in his films, my elevator pitch a child survivor of Order 66, navigating through the galaxy to survive while struggling to trust in the Force. I know a lot of people are going to roll their eyes at the whole surviving Order 66. Here's the kicker. It can be a new survivor. Yeah, sure, whatever. But why not Cal Kestis?
Yeah.
We have not seen what happens to Cal after the death of his master. In the game, we see or witness what happens in the events on the Republic ship. His master sacrifices himself, pushes Cal Kestis with the Force into an escape pod, and that escape pod launches off. And the next thing you know, he is an adult and you play the game. There is a long time between there that you could you can literally start off, because me as a millennial 33-year-old, I'm like, okay, how many animated films started with a huge tragedy that was very traumatic? Hello, you think of Land Before Time, you
Yep.
can think of things like oh shoot. Can you think of any? I had a whole list and now they're just escaping me. But Land Before Time was the one that like rang true to me, because it's like,
Yeah.
oh, literally, like the death of all the dinosaurs
Oh,
happens at the
I've
very
seen
beginning of the film.
all the Land Before Time movies. No,
Yeah,
I totally.
yeah, they are super sad, and then they have fun and it's very silly and everything else. And so I think Chris Sanders would have such a blast with that raw emotion, the feeling of, you know, being stuck in our fight or flight mode with whoever is the survivor, but then also like supposedly having to have this overall trust in the Force, but yet, you know, Order 66 happens. So there's a lot of conflict in that, and you don't know what's happening through a child's mind. I'm thinking if you're navigating through the galaxy, you're gonna meet droids, you're gonna meet all sorts of creatures on planets,
Yeah.
all sorts of things. I think that movie could be extremely gorgeous if you can allow Chris Sanders to really shine and to really throw a lot at you like that.
So
So
here's what I'm gonna do. And we didn't talk about this at all, so this is gonna be on the fly. But I had
okay.
inspo, and so we're gonna go with it. I accept your pitch, but I want to change the main character.
Okay.
It's still gonna be one that we've seen, so it's still another survivor that
Mm-hmm.
we've seen. I'm gonna give you Grogu and tell you to write the story.
See, I went through a lot of names. I went through a lot of names because Cal was admittedly my first choice, and then I was like, oh, but what if somebody's listening to the podcast? It's like, oh, I don't really have a connection to Cal. I was like, okay,
Right.
what
Grogu
about?
is your main line to the main audience because he's cute. We have stuffed animals. Like,
I would essentially like the idea of Grogu being the main character. I think that could very well work. I genuinely think it would, because Grogu at such a young age, we saw the flashback in Mandalorian that he is almost helpless. You
yep.
know, like he is so little, he is almost helpless. So it would be that wild robot type of scenario. Mind you, I have not seen Wild Robot. I only know the premise, and I've seen a lot of
I've not seen
photos
it
and
either.
things. But I understand the premise. Um, think of it this way: you've seen Oh, what was you've seen Logan, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Think of the child version of Logan.
Okay.
Yeah. I know that sounds crazy, but that's how it was described to me. And then I had somebody literally break it down, and I was like, "Holy crap, that is the child version of Logan. That's weird." So yeah. Um I wouldn't mind Grogu. I also wouldn't mind Kanan Jarrus. I think
Yeah.
these three characters,
Well, you
you
have the
know
Kanan
enough.
comic.
You
So
do
you
have the Kanan comic. You do have the Kanan novel, the one that
yep,
we just recently reviewed this past year.
A
Uh
New Dawn.
A New Dawn, yes. Uh you have a lot of material. And that's why I chose to veer away from Kanan. Because I think there is still, you know, stuff that you can kind of just weave into, in and out of the comics era and all of that stuff of his timeline. And I was like, there's too much there. There's too much. You'll have to step on toes
Yep.
and all that stuff. So let's not do it. Grogu, as of right now, we only know what happens immediately after Anakin with the clones storms the academy.
Yep.
Like that's all we know. Um and then, of course, the next thing we know is, the first episode of The Mandalorian. So I think that could very, very well work. Um and even if your main character not being able to verbally speak their mind, I think is a very interesting thing also. So it has to work a lot on um facial expressions
Yeah.
and signals and cues. I think would be very interesting in a animated aspect.
Yeah.
I
And
think
I
that would be
think
fun.
I think it's something where you can take it and cover the 19-year span or
Hmm.
the 22 years, whatever to get to Mandalorian at
Yeah.
this point. Um, I think you can cover that span and talk about how he escaped, how he got separated from Jar Jar Binks's actors. Ahmed,
Yeah. Yeah.
um,
I'm at best. Yeah.
Ahmed, Ahmed Best's character, Jedi person. How they got separated, and then dive into how he got
I like how
captured
you
and
can't
stuff.
even say Ahmed Best's character because he's also in uh clone Attack of the Clones. Did you know that?
Yeah, I
He's in the
did
bar.
actually.
Yeah, he's in the bar. So
Oh,
it's
he's in
like,
the bar? Oh, I thought he
yeah.
was on the field for some reason.
No,
That's why that makes him be a Jedi.
you can see him in the bar like talking to some woman. So yeah, but yeah, I think it would be, and that's the thing that's a little awkward, is how far do you want to go,
Yeah,
right? With Cal Kestis, do you want to actually excuse me, do you actually want to cover like a full 12 years or
yeah,
20 years in one movie? Or do you just want to talk about one little scenario, you know? Um and that's the best part of Star Wars, is the fact that there is a story with every little thing, and you don't necessarily have to draw it out so long.
yeah,
I think that what Star Wars does best is, even when you look at something like Visions, those are individual stories, and as long as you have that feeling, that classic feeling of like Star Wars hope at the end, or even Star Wars dread when you're looking at something like The Empire Strikes Back, I think it
yeah,
still works. So even if you were going to get a story about Kanan Jarrus, a story about Grogu, a story about Cal Kestis, and do that 2 weeks after they escape Order 66 or something, I still think it could work, you know?
yeah.
It all depends on the story at hand.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. But yeah, I think that this was very fun. It got me to think like, hey, like what haven't we seen? What have we seen? Um Listeners, if you enjoyed this, if you have a elevator pitch of your own of something that you've always wanted to see in Star Wars and animated, please let us know. Of course,
For
we
sure.
have a Star Wars Alliance hotline and Gmail that you can send a voicemail, a text message, or an email to, of course. That, of course, being Star Wars Alliance at gmail.com. There is no A in wars, so please remember that. Don't forget it. And the hotline is 830-538-4828 to text and or leave a voicemail with us. Please be on your best behavior with those text messages and voicemails. I will be listening and or reading them before we actually show them on air. And leave us some sort of nickname or handle that we can shout out so that way people know who you are. Um, but speaking of handles and everything else, um, it looks like the GUA is really considering bouncing from Twitter, which I think a lot of people should. Um,
Yeah.
so you will not really see me on Twitter. Currently, we are only using it really for the show. And even at that, I think Katie, you and I have to discuss about possibly moving that handle to better platforms. But
Better
that can be
platforms.
about at a later date. But yeah, there is that. I will be on Blue Sky for anything and everything comics. If you'd like to uh, follow me for that kind of thing, Blue Sky is actually beta testing a TikTok like app that they are hosting. So as soon as that goes live and out of beta, I will probably start making videos again and just posting it all on Blue Sky. And the app that they are beta testing is going to be called Spotlight. So I will be joining that as well. So be on the lookout for that. And then Ranger Alliance, guys, we have finally revamped. 2 episodes are out so far. We are covering Sentai as well as the new anime show that is called Red Ranger. Oh shoot, what is it? Becomes an adventurer in a new world. That's what it's called. Um, it's an isekai. It's very very funny. Me and Joe have already talked about the first episode, but that first episode will not be heard from you guys until the first week of March.
Unless
We
you're on
are
Patreon.
Unless you're on Patreon, yes. We are setting up very, very in advance and putting episodes out on Patreon. It helps us with scheduling and things like that. And me, Jake, and Joe are having a lot of fun with this. So please, if you can support us, join our Patreon at Geek Ultimate Alliance over on Patreon. A $1 tier will just get you in the door to help support us, while $5 will give you that exclusive access to all the shows.
Yes.
Katie, what about you?
Y'all, you can find me on most social media platforms as at Slice of Katie. Remember, I'm not hanging around too much. I've been on more the past 2 days, but that's because Onyx Storm dropped. And honestly, I'm thinking about recording a Patreon episode for it. Because I have some thoughts. And I know none of y'all that listen, are here for the romantasy content, but you know what? I am.
For the
And that's
smut.
for the smut. There
Call
was
it what
not
it
actually
is.
there was not okay, wait. No, there was a lot of smut. There was a lot of smut. My sister texted me and was like, "Dang, I can't skip these sex scenes." And I'm like, "You haven't even gotten to the sex scene yet." But there's a lot of
Oh, that's
kissing.
hilarious.
Um So yeah, debating. I don't have a lot of time right now, so that's the other thing. Which is why you have not heard Patreon exclusive episodes from me, because I am trying to keep my head above water. So I'm not even going to mention Star Wars Alliance's handle on the site that shall not be named really anymore. Because again, yeah, we need to talk about moving it.
Yes, for sure.
So again, like Clay said, you can shoot us a text or leave us a voicemail. It's 830-538-4828. Just leave us a nickname, something to address you by. It's greatly appreciated. You can also shoot us an email at StarWarsAlliance@gmail.com. If you want to see us on, or I'm sorry, before I say that, there's no A in the wars. Don't forget it. If you want to see us on a specific social media site, you can look us up at that username. That is where you will find us on most social media platforms if we have a username. If we're not there, feel free to shoot us a message. Be like, where the fuck are you? I would like to see you on this platform. Let's do it. I've left most social media platforms. I am still using them, but briefly. But obviously, if there's an audience, we want to be there. So, with that, y'all, I want to wish everyone a great day or night, whatever time you're listening or watching, and we will see y'all next time. May the force be with you.